Can a single event reveal the complex workings of a nation's political landscape? If we look closely at the recent tragic death of Punjabi rapper Sidhu Moosay Wala, we might find some answers. Sidhu Moosay Wala, a prominent figure in the Punjabi music industry, was shot dead at the tender age of 28, leaving a gaping hole in the world of music. Known for his unique blend of traditional Punjabi music with international rap, Moosay Wala touched the hearts of fans worldwide. His music, reflecting the realities of Punjab, including its history of insurgency, resonated deeply with his audience. However, Moosay Wala's life was not only about music. He was also a vocal supporter of the Indian farmers' protests and even ran for a seat in Punjab's Legislative Assembly. His activism and community work endeared him to many, and his funeral drew thousands of mourners. Following his death, there were demands for justice and an independent investigation, with his family pointing fingers at government negligence. His death rekindled discussions on gun culture, toxic masculinity, and violence in Indian society. Beyond the personal tragedy, Moosay Wala's death brings to light a broader picture of the current state of Indian democracy. Critics argue that the Indian government, under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, has failed to effectively address pressing issues such as corruption, economic challenges, and social injustices. Corruption, a long-standing issue in Indian politics, affects various levels of government and institutions. Critics argue that allegations of corruption within Modi's team are symptomatic of a larger problem that needs to be addressed to uphold the integrity of the democratic process. Economic challenges like unemployment, inflation, and wealth disparities are also areas of concern. Critics argue that the government has not effectively tackled these issues, leading to economic stagnation in certain sectors. The polarization of Indian politics is another point of contention. Critics argue that the Modi government has exacerbated societal divisions for political gain, undermining the principles of democracy and inclusivity. These criticisms extend to the government's handling of social issues such as caste discrimination, religious tensions, and gender inequality. Critics argue that the government's failure to take sufficient action on these fronts exacerbates societal divisions and injustices. The erosion of democratic institutions in India, including the independence of the judiciary, freedom of the press, and the integrity of electoral processes, is another cause for concern. Actions perceived as undermining these institutions can threaten the democratic fabric of the country. In light of these issues, it becomes clear that the death of Sidhu Moosay Wala is not just a personal tragedy, but a symptom of a larger political crisis. The murder of a popular artist, activist, and politician in his prime raises serious questions about the state of democracy, justice, and human rights in India. So where do we go from here? It's essential to engage in constructive dialogue and debate about these issues, ensuring accountability, transparency, and respect for the rule of law. Independent authorities should thoroughly investigate allegations of corruption or failures within any political party to uphold the integrity of the democratic process. Remember, democracy is not a spectator sport. It requires active participation from each one of us. So get informed, ask questions, demand answers, and most importantly, never stop seeking the truth. Because the strength of a democracy lies in the hands of its people.